Good day, grade 10 consumer learners. I trust that you are all well and safe. We are moving on to our next lesson, lesson 8 on hygiene. Um, Personal hygiene, hygiene when working in the kitchen, and overall hygiene is of utmost importance. And I think the whole world now realizes how important your personal hygiene is. Our every move, our every step is governed by washing our hands, sanitizing, and making sure that we are safe from germs and bacteria and viruses that are all around us during this time of dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic. All right, let's come back to our lesson. We are looking at the first line, personal hygiene. Okay, so personal hygiene refers to you yourself and how uh, clean you are while working in the kitchen. So, some of the things that we have to do is wear clean clothes when you are working in the kitchen and an apron at all times. All right. So, even your apron must be relatively neat and clean after you are done cooking. We don't want to see an apron that is completely messed. It will show that you are unorganized, you're not meticulous, and you're not clean, or uh, you are not clean while working in the kitchen, and that um, doesn't have a good impression to customers or to those that will be tasting your food. Okay. The next point that I have is wash your hands thoroughly. Again, we are doing this constantly at the moment. If this was not something you were doing before the pandemic, obviously we are all thoroughly washing our hands continuously throughout the day for 20 seconds at a time or more, or at least as long as you can sing the happy birthday song twice. All right. So you scrubbing under your fingernails, you are scrubbing your palms, you are interlocking your fingers and making sure that every nook and cranny of your hands are scrubbed. That is overall, and especially before you are handling food. Okay. And so this is something we used to do in the kitchen anyway. We were very meticulous about washing our hands and making sure that our hands were clean before we handle any food. Some other points to remember for personal hygiene: if for girls that have long hair, when you're working in the kitchen, your hair must be tied back to prevent any kind of physical contamination. If you are wearing any jewelry, you must take it off, like, for example, a ring or bangles or even a watch, because they can also carry dirt and viruses and bacteria. So remove them before you wash your hands, then wash your hands thoroughly and work with food. Okay, so those are just some personal hygiene um, points that we need to look at. Next, let's look at hygiene in the kitchen. Of course, you cannot work in a dirty environment, and especially your kitchen where you prepare your food, leave alone the kitchen at school. But if you are at home and you're preparing your food, your kitchen must be absolutely clean and tidy at all times. All your surfaces and equipment must be scrupulously clean, meaning extremely clean. And again, during this COVID-19 pandemic, we are encouraged to disinfect all our surfaces, our kitchen countertops, our kitchen sink. We must wash all our equipment and dishes thoroughly with warm, soapy water. Make sure that you keep all pets out of the kitchen. All right? Make sure that you keep all your pets out of the kitchen. Pets carry, again, sickness, illness, disease, viruses, bacteria. Cats should not be walking on top of your kitchen counter. Neither should your dog or any other pets be in the kitchen. All right? It must be kept clean. Any um, any dishes or crockery that is chipped or cracked, plates that may have a crack, cups that may have a chip, must be discarded or thrown away because it can be hazardous. Okay, it can be hazardous. All right. Definitely, there must be no pests in your kitchen. Now, sometimes we can't help it. You do find an odd cockroach here and there, or ants, depending on this season, if it's summer and things like that, and if we've left a window open. But if we keep our kitchens clean, it will reduce the chances of finding pests in your kitchen. So kitchen pests are insects that spread diseases. So make sure that you don't find them in your kitchen by making sure that your kitchen is extremely clean. Always ensure that all food is put away and that your food is covered after meals, and any dirt that needs to be thrown is sorted out immediately. Um, pests like um, pests like cockroaches and flies are called vectors. These are types of pests that can carry bacteria and viruses straight from feces directly onto food. All right. So especially cockroaches and um, flies, we need to make sure that they do not sit anywhere in our kitchen, or you don't see them. If you see them, you need to clean up after that space, because these are pests that are called vectors. They are able to carry um, uh, viruses and bacteria because they can go directly from feces, sitting on feces, straight to food. All right. So even if a fly lands on your sandwich, you rather remove that part of your sandwich before you eat the rest of it. Don't say 3-second rule and decide to eat it. You rather discard that part of the sandwich where the fly has landed. All right. Let's look at waste control and disposal. How do we get rid of waste? Uh, Waste control: reuse plastic containers, reuse things that can be used again, of course, like ice cream tubs. I'm sure Indian moms are the queens of reusing ice cream tubs. You'll find a lot of them in the freezer, not with ice cream, but with everything else. So ideas like this of reusing plastic containers instead of throwing them out, because plastic is harmful to the environment. Okay. Carry your own plastic packets or reusable bags or baskets when buying groceries. Like I mentioned um, in a lesson before, in 2003, we changed a law, or we instated a law that says that you should pay for your plastic packets when you go shopping. Previously, it used to be free. And the reason why they did this was to encourage consumers and buyers to recycle their packets or to use reusable bags or baskets, so that they avoid throwing away those plastic packets. Okay, it's a way of controlling waste. Okay, let's look at hygienic waste disposal practices. Make sure that you line your bins with eco-friendly plastic or paper, and sort out your waste, all right, for recycling, especially when you are recycling into wet waste and into dry waste like paper and glass, so that it's easier when it goes for recycling to be sorted out and to be put in the relevant spaces and to be recycled accordingly. All right, let's go on to the next one: reducing household waste. Always remember, in your home, while you are at home at the moment, reduce, reuse, recycle. We've learned that over and over again. And this helps us cut down the amount of waste we throw away. Okay, so instead of throwing away dirt, look at your packet of dirt and see what can you reduce, what can you reuse, and what can you recycle. Okay, by refusing to buy things you don't need, uh, and reusing items and disposing of items you don't need at appropriate recycling places, you can contribute to a healthier planet. All right. So avoid buying things that you don't need. We can encourage our parents to do this as well. Let's reuse items that can be reused instead of using them once and throwing them out. And don't just dispose of items you don't need, but rather dispose of them in the proper manner so they could maybe be recycled. And doing all of these things, we can contribute to a healthier planet for us and for the future generations to come. Okay. Following this, we have an easy activity for you to do. You got to draw for me the international symbol for recyclable goods. Very simple. And then you got to study this picture below, and you will find many things that are wrong. You got to list for safety hazards. That means things that could be possibly dangerous, like knives sticking out, pots, fires under a fire under this little frying pan here. Three unhygienic practices would be three things that are not hygienic, not very clean. All right, so you can do that. And then from the notes above, three hygienic practices when preparing food in the kitchen. Okay, I trust that that was an easy, simple lesson to understand, and I'm sure I'll speak to you soon. Take care.